This morning, I'm speaking on discovering your enthusiasm, which comes from our book for the year, this Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo, and actually I went ahead a little bit, so you won't have read it yet. Maybe you'll have read it. It's only a few days ahead. It's on the 24th. And what it says, so that's, don't ask me the page, good heavens, 277. And Mark Nepo begins this one, it's called Enthusiasm, and he says, we are human beings, our being infinite as wind, our human house full of holes. Our being infinite as wind, our human house full of holes. And he goes on to talk about the meaning of that word enthusiasm, that it comes from the two parts, en and theos, which is one with, and one with what? The divine, theos, so one with God. So when we are one with God, we are enthusiastic. Now, that means that it has to be authentic. It has to be the real McCoy, the real stuff, in order to be one with God. Now, we can act as if, in fact, we actually practice acting as if. It's a good thing to practice, but you know when someone isn't truly being themselves, that they're trying to be enthusiastic and their heart just isn't in it, it rings false. It's bravado, it's fake. And that is not the meaning of the word. It is not the meaning of the word. Now, I don't know if you know this or not, but before every service, definitely before the first service, I get prayed in. That means that someone sits in my office and specifically prays for me for this service and prays for me for what I want. And I wanted to be enthusiastic. If I'm going to talk about enthusiasm, I wanted to be enthusiastic. And in my mind, enthusiasm is kind of that kid in me that's skipping across the platform. It might not happen. It's okay, it might happen, it might not happen. But the fact is that picture and the reality of my authentic self being with you isn't necessarily the same as the kid skipping. But there'll be an inner joy to be enthusiastic, an inner awareness of the presence of God, because it's all about that. Now, at Asilomar last week, I told you I was going to share more about Asilomar, and one of the things I'd like to share was one of the speakers I heard was taught by the wonderful Raymond Charles Barker. This guy's been a minister since 1968. His name's Lloyd Tupper. He's now semi-retired. He's living in San Francisco area. But he was quoting Raymond Charles Barker, and anyone else here today in the sanctuary ever hear Raymond Charles Barker in person besides me? Oh, good. 3 of us. And he was magnificent. He was a fabulous speaker. He really embraced this teaching. And those of us who've read his books know how magnificent he is. He could also be a little full of himself. Could be a little full of himself. We all are. Very convincing. So Lloyd was so smitten by him, he flew from San Diego to New York City once a quarter just to have spiritual counseling. And he said the first few times he had spiritual counseling, Dr. Barker was sitting across his desk and he would go mumbling something under his breath. Something, mumble. And he was too embarrassed to say, could you speak up? I can't hear what you're saying. So finally, months later, they were having dinner together, and they were just socializing, he said, Dr. Barker, I really need to ask you this. When we counsel, what are you saying under your breath? And Dr. Barker said, I'm simply telling the truth. There's not a word of truth in it. There's not a word of truth in it. Now that sounds like, gosh, he's not being compassionate, but you don't want your spiritual teacher, your practitioner, your minister to believe in your troubles. You want them to believe in your absolute greatness, in your potential, in the spiritual truth about you. So Raymond did that also with, I heard this before, that he did that with the newspaper. He read that paper from cover to cover. My ear ring is making a noise, which I'm going to move and take off. Then it won't. So carry on. Okay. Oh, you're waiting for me. Good. So he would read that newspaper from cover to cover and then say, and there's not a word of truth in it. And some people say a newspaper is simply our first prayer list. It's the first prayer list. In other words, we look at the facts of the day and their interpretation, and we see them rightly, see them through the eyes of God, see them from that place of oneness. So the night before, or maybe the night of Raymond Charles Barker's transition, he was making notes for his next talk, and they were by his bedside. And I have a copy of them. And here's what it starts with. Yesterday ended last night. Yesterday ended last night, which simply means quit bringing the past with you from the past into the present, because this is the moment with all the power. This is the moment that we get to decide who we are and speak from that place of entheos, of one with God. Right now, we get to do it. So I'd like to share some of the other things that he also said. He said, only the negatives should go. Only the negatives should go. So when we are dragging the past with us, it keeps us out of the present. And one of the things that we sometimes find ourselves doing is thinking about the things that have hurt us or the ways that we have not measured up to our own measuring stick. So one of the things that I mentioned Friday night, and I told her I'd tell you more about it, is that for me, Asilomar wasn't just one glorious moment after moment of spiritual realization, although it could have been, because certainly the program was set up that way that it was just filled with wonderful speakers and meditation and prayers. But there were also moments that you get to be social with your friends and get to meet new people and make new friends. And one of the things that occurred for me is that I hurt someone's feelings. I hurt someone that I love deeply. And so I felt very badly that I'd hurt her feelings. So badly that the next day I was so sick I could barely move, which is what happens to me when I feel guilty. You might consider your own process what happens when you don't measure up to your own measuring stick. Well, who made the measuring stick? You did. You did. I did. My wonderful mentor said to me something that I thought was really great, and Mark Nepo says the same thing in this book, is that enthusiasm we discover and then we forget. It's sort of discover, uncover, recover, cover up, discover, uncover, recover, cover up, because we haven't seemed to learn to stay awake spiritually all the time. We're awake as much as we can be. We're awake whenever we know our oneness with life. That's the easiest way to measure it. As soon as I start feeling bad about myself, I'm saying that I'm the part of the universe where God is not. Impossible. When I project that onto someone else and say, there's a person where God is not. Again, I've caused this idea, this belief in separation, two powers. There's only one. There's only one power. There's only one of us here. So how do we remember that? How do we remember to wake up and remind ourselves of the unity of all life? Certainly, one way is to talk with a practitioner, a minister. Be reminded of the truth of your being. But sometimes they're not available. 2 a.m, you might have something going through your head. What can you do instead of picking up your phone and calling me? Because I won't answer at 2 a.m. I'm going to Justin can. Okay. So, where was I? Okay. I won't answer. But I'm here now, so. So what Mark Nepo says, he says, you need to risk looking the fool. You need to risk doing new things, because the risk puts you into a place where you actually can let God come out. And yesterday I was getting a manicure, and I found this wonderful place, and I was sitting with my manicurist, and I was facing this direction, and a man walked in, and he was sitting in the chair opposite me. Couldn't have been any further away than from me to Ed's guitar. So it's not a big shop. And he had a loud voice. So he was talking, and he sounded really interesting. Here's what I know about him so far. I know that he travels to China once a month, and he works in China and Vietnam, and then comes back to this area and spends a few days and so on. And I know that he sells sells Buddhas. And his manicurist said, "Pardon? How do you do that?" He said he flew, and she was actually asking the question, "What is the Buddha you sell?" I'm presuming it's a statue. But I didn't get to ask him because he could tell that my manicurist and I were enjoying this conversation. And he said, "Oh, you've got good antenna, don't you?" And he said it in a way that led us both to know we were not invited into that conversation, even though it was a small space. And it would have been great to get to know him, but that was not what his intention was. And we didn't talk about it. We sort of looked. You know how quickly you exchange an idea with someone by a look, a glance? And the look was, we were bad. We were bad. It was that look. It was that look of, you did bad. And stop it. And both of us, we changed the subject. We lowered our voices. I know I tried not to eavesdrop anymore because I knew he didn't like it. And I thought, why do we give our power away? So one of my great gifts is my hearing. I'm happy that I have great hearing. And I'm not going to make myself wrong for hearing. But I did. And it was so quick. It was like a twinkling of an eye that I got the message that I was bad and wrong. Just like when I hurt my friend's feelings, it was moments before I realized I was out of line here. Now my friend says, because I was feeling really bad, this was a week and a half later when I worked with my mentor, and she said, "Now isn't that interesting, because you just told me about this wonderful gift you just had." I had a gift of having my home organized. I can't tell you how great this gift was. I mean, it was a huge gift. Huge. It was, we worked together, and mostly she worked, from 10 a.m. till 10 p.m. It was just, and 6 bags of clothing now gone. So the things that don't fit me, the things that are that I don't like. The things I used to pass by in my closets are now gone. And I have actually looked for a couple of them already. Not just the habitual thing, but I want to tell you, I was just on the top of the world. I felt so good. And then days later, I felt so bad about myself. And my mentor said, consider this, that here in this life, in this physical world that we're living in, we're taught, just like we were taught so quickly in our social conventions, thank you God for agreeing, we're taught social conventions of you don't eavesdrop or you don't extend yourself past the socially accepted places of conversation. To do so is a faux pas. So we learn those things, and when we break those beliefs, we have subtle and not so subtle ways of learning of punishing ourselves. I got sick. I felt if you feel guilty, that in itself is saying, I'm punishing myself for not being good enough, which is a lie. How can God not be good enough? How can God not be good enough for God? Because the truth is that just the way you are, you're good enough. And so am I. And those people that come into our life, like my friend, whose feelings I hurt, came in so that I could have a greater understanding of myself, of the presence of God within me. So I could remember, along with Raymond Charles Barker, yesterday ended last night. Quit dragging it around. Quit dragging it back into the present. Leave it. Let it be. And my mentor sent me something called a oneness prayer, which is just beautiful, and I'm going to share it with you later on. Because risk is one way that we can move past our stopping places. Compassion, as Mark Nepo says, is another way. And of course, prayer is always a third way, always a third way. But before I go to prayer, I want to share with you this story that one of my colleagues on the field list sent around, and I thought it was good. You might enjoy it. A tough old cowboy from South Texas counseled his grandson that if he wanted to live a long life, and how many of us don't, the secret was to sprinkle a pinch of gunpowder on his oatmeal every morning. The grandson did this religiously to the age of 103 when he died. He left behind 14 children, 30 grandchildren, 45 great-grandchildren, and 25 great-great-grandchildren, and a 15-foot hole where the crematorium used to be. Joy is the evidence of the presence of God. Always, always is. Okay. So ask yourself, is there someone that you're judging or blaming? Is there someone that hurt you like I hurt my friend? Is there someone that disappointed you? Is there a situation? Could it be the government? Could it be the stock market? I don't know where it ended. I know that it was up, it was down, it was up, it was down. I don't know. I don't want to hear it right now either. Is there something that you're holding as being responsible for your joy other than you? Bring that idea, person to mind. And I'm going to read this prayer as a prayer. And if you want, you can get quiet and receive it. And where I say fill in the blank of the person or institution or idea that came to you that has stolen your joy. There is only one life. This life is good. This life is God. This life is my life now. In knowing that I am one with the life that is God, I therefore know that I am one with each and every expression of this divine and sacred life, which includes, beloved, fill in the blank. Because I know that the one life of God cannot be against itself, I therefore know that I cannot be against fill in the blank, nor can fill in the blank be against me. Together, in the perfect wholeness of this one life that is God, fill in the blank, and I can only be for a fuller and greater expression of our own true nature, which is love. And out of the self-giving nature of this love, there can only be a harmonious integration and a glorious revelation of the wholeness, perfection, and beauty of God through my physical flesh body now. I give thanks for the presence of fill in the blank in my life, for by this presence I have been shown a part of myself that I have yet to love, a part of myself which I now invite into the wholeness of my being, which is Christ. And it is in this awareness of oneness that I give thanks to the glory of God for the healing power and presence of love in my life. I am grateful God is gracious. Amen. And so it is. Please repeat after me. Yesterday ended last night. I choose to discover my enthusiasm now. And so it is. Namaste.